Hi, my name is Antonis and I'm the painter of this video. Today I want to share with you this study I did on this very famous and amazing painting by Leonardo da Vinci, Christ Salvator Mundi, as we call this type of Christ. And it's an amazing painting, such a beautiful gaze of this Christ. It's time now that I wanted to study this and of course explore Sfumato, this technique of painting hazy transitions between light and shadow. It's a technique that Da Vinci really perfected, and I believe much of this technique is lost in practice. I mean, we have some theory of how a painter can achieve the sfumato technique, but I believe in practice this technique is pretty much lost. So I haven't seen any useful techniques on YouTube or elsewhere. I have tried to experiment in the past with the sfumato technique, but I have to say that the results were not as great as the ones seen on the paintings of Leonardo. So I really wanted to experiment on these hazy transitions between shadows and light, and to keep these transparent layers of color that they are evident in the paintings of Da Vinci, but at the same time they are very well built, very well define the volume on the head. So I have to say that in order to do this, I had to do some experimentation, some research, let's say, on the way oil color behaves, and little by little to paint something that resembles of the way that Leonardo da Vinci has painted this painting. Of course, I wasn't there while Leonardo was painting his this work, but and I'm pretty sure he might have followed a different technique, a different way of building shadow and light, but nonetheless, I was pretty excited and pretty happy with the final result of this study. The transitions really looked very similar to those of Leonardo, and the theory is that you have to build sfumato using layers upon layers of color, thin layers, and this is what I followed here, using these thin layers and applying them in such a way that this this smoke-like effect would be created on the painting. Here you can see that I have transferred my drawing on my panel, and I have done a very basic underpainting. Then using these thin layers of color, little by little I will apply those layers on the areas where the light should be. And then using the brush, I am moving the color around and create these subtle, beautiful transitions of color. The important and one thing that I have gained by doing this study is that painters shouldn't be afraid, shouldn't see it before their easel with fear, but rather than with some kind of boldness, some kind of mastery in them. And of course, when we paint a study and we have to do some, let's say, uh, academic experiment, there is more of anxiety. I have to be sincere, I had some anxiety while painting this study, just because I would feel a little bit disappointed if these efforts wouldn't resemble at least a little with the work of DaVinci. So I was a little bit anxious, but at the same time we have to be bold, especially when we create a more personal, a more unique, original work of art. We can use these techniques that we have learned from our studies, but then be bold and aggressive in the way of perceiving the action of painting, bold and paint. I find that this was the only way those old masters perceived painting, and they didn't always know what they were doing, but it seems as if they knew, and think that a painter would experiment, a master painter would experiment throughout his life, would change, wouldn't follow always the same recipe of painting, and this is what we should do as well. So one of the things that I took from this is, of course, to do these studies of painting and apply what we learn on our own personal work, sitting before our easel without any fear, without any serious doubt that would kill our excitement and our joy from painting, but rather than paint with some boldness and courage. It's not an easy task, but and it's not always a road that brings us to a beautiful, nice result. But nonetheless, we should experiment and we should be bold. Here, as you see, I apply more and more thin layers of gradually brighter color, and I somehow smear this color with my brush. I move this color with my brush in such a way that a beautiful hazy layer of color is created on the face of Christ in this case. Sfumato can be it's a very characteristic way of painting. Of course, there are so many other ways of painting that can be brighter, more vivid, more alive. This though creates this hazy effect that is so unique to the work of Leonardo and many other Renaissance painters. It creates this beautiful transition from darkness to light in a way that no other way of transitioning and blending colors will do. So it's a beautiful, nice tool to have in our painting library, let's say, in our painting ways. I can imagine how beautiful this way of painting flesh can be shown in contemporary paintings, contemporary works of art. It could be something amazing, and I'm very glad I did this study. In this way I will be able, if I want, to use this application of color, this technique, this Sfumato technique in my own personal work. I have to say that it is simple enough. It's not something extremely difficult. It's if you learn a little bit, if you understand how materials behave, both color and the brush, then it's an easy way to paint the study and to learn to lighten flesh like smoke. It's not something extremely difficult. Of course, this is, as I say, my interpretation of the Sfumato. I'm not really sure if Leonardo used this specifically this same way, but I'm pretty happy, I have to say. I'm pretty excited about the result, and I feel great with reaching this kind of result on this study. Hi, so on patreon.com you can find my full tutorial along with so many others about Sfumato, the Sfumato technique, the way I've painted this study on Salvator Mundi. And this is an in-detail lesson on the brushes, the colors that I've used, the way of handling the color and the brushes. And I hope you will find this very informative and useful for you. Thank you so much. It's true that so many layers have been applied to create this beautiful effect, and it's something that it does take time. For this it took me like 3 sittings before the easel. I had to wait after a point for the layers to dry up a little bit before proceeding to adding some more layers. And this brings this painting the beauty, and this it helps to create this beautiful, nice effect. I have to say that I thought that I have to use very expensive brushes. I have to use colors that are of the highest, best quality in order to achieve this sfumato. But I really have to say, and you see it here, that the brushes I'm using are synthetic. I use some Kolinsky natural bristle brushes, but for the most part the brushes can be synthetic, soft synthetic brushes, and the colors I use are not professional. They are of good quality, of course, but not of those pigments that are extremely expensive, extremely hard to find, and fancy colors. And of course I've used very few colors to achieve this flesh tone. It's like I've used 4 or 5 colors in order to achieve this sfumato effect here. I imagine that somebody can add really many layers, as many as somebody likes, but for me this was the final layer here. It gave me this really nice effect, and yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can find more details on the full lesson. I will upload on patreon.com/paintingthelight on my page there. You can find the full detailed tutorial on the colors that I've used and the technique that I used. But I really was very excited to share with you the results of this. And for sure you can see how I apply these layers here and take an idea of this hazy, foggy, beautiful transition from light to shadow. It's really amazing, and I have to say that I was really excited. If you want to learn how to use this and of course use it for your own personal work or just for doing these studies, find me on Patreon and find all the exclusive content there, all the tutorials and lessons I have uploaded there. And stay healthy, stay creative. I want to thank you so much for being here, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye.